Kick assets.
Okay.
Cha-ching.
Kick assets. Cha-ching.
All right, that's better. All right, go for it.
Take off my glasses
You
with
have
this
to
one.
squeeze a little bit. Okay, that's good.
That good?
So you guys are.
All right.
Hi.
Just reaction.
There we are.
Action.
Action.
Hello.
Hello.
Zsolt. Welcome.
Hello, Colin. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This is client number 462. We're here in his wonderful house with the wonder of a view. And I actually hired a cameraman today.
That's it.
Thank you.
We're up in the budget.
Up in the budget. So, how you feeling today?
Awesome. Just awesome. Finally made it happen.
Can you explain to everybody what happened? Like the process
Yeah,
for how
so
you started all this?
I had been looking at, as everybody on the internet is now, at properties in Japan and, going down that whole rabbit hole of different areas, different properties, et cetera, went through the sort of pile of content available on YouTube, not from Colin, but just sort of everywhere. Sorry.
There's a call coming, so.
Oh, you getting a call?
What?
Oh, shit.
It says recording stopped.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It said recording.
All right.
Okay, take two.
Take two.
We have Zsolt here in our brand new house with a beautiful view, and I hired a new cameraman here today. I said all that. So where were we?
Where were we? The process.
Oh yeah, the process.
The process, yeah.
Start over. Yeah, let everybody know what happened.
So essentially, I was just looking online at all the, sort of slew of information available regarding buying Japanese properties, Akiyas on YouTube, Reddit, Facebook, everywhere. It's headlines everywhere.
Yeah.
And sort of just choosing a sort of location and an ideal type of property. There's a lot of listings that seem too good to be true, and a lot of YouTubers who sort of take those listings and use that to promote an idea that's not entirely accurate. So thankfully, sort of near the tail end of my journey, I found Colin's channel, which was a relatively small channel in the grand scheme of all these sort of online creators, especially in Japan. And his stuff was just run and gun, walking through the houses. I mean, if you're watching this, you've seen the other ones. Walking through the houses, telling it how it is. Hey, that ceiling's leaking. Hey, this, that, not glamorizing it. And then I saw that he had helped other people in the past purchase these houses. So after the better part of almost 2 years doing my own research on properties, areas, and actually looking for the prospective properties, and after around sort of 8 months-ish of watching Colin's stuff on my own, I decided to message him with the properties that I was considering. We chatted back and forth, and I think it was the weekend before, and then the weekend before we got on a Zoom call, looked at the properties, and he was like, "Hey, can you get here next weekend?" And while we were on the Zoom call, he called the agent for me, because again, the benefit of working with Colin is he's completely fluent in Japanese and at a speaking proficiency that's decent with an agent, because even if you're studying Japanese, you will not be the speaking proficiency level to deal business, right? It's completely different. So especially even today, there was a technical term on the contract that even you didn't know, like that counter, right?
So new words you learn.
Yeah, new words every day. So that's someone who lives here for ages and ages, and you'll learn new things every day. So definitely, if I had reached out to the agent myself using Google Translate, things may have not and would have not panned out. I reached out to Colin. We got on a Zoom call. I was in Canada. He said, "Hey, can you come to Japan next weekend?" I just spoke with the agent. We're going to do it next weekend, and I figured out how to get to Japan next weekend.
Were you surprised how fast it happened?
It was everything about the process was incredibly quick. I mean, from making contact with the agent. I mean, first week I messaged Colin, yada yada yada. We went through everything. The second week we were on a Zoom call together. And the third week I was in Japan, and we were actually, the showing was the day after I landed. Yeah. So it all happened extremely quick, and especially considering too the timing, right? It's during Golden Week as well. Yeah. Where things are a little more spotty, and the real estate process is.
We were lucky they were flexible on the time.
Yeah,
too,
we were lucky they were flexible on working sort of on a holiday, even though it's not technically, but it is. Yeah. It would be really easy just to say no, right? So thank goodness they, from day one, sort of vibed with both of us and got the idea that,
it's about the vibe, right?
Yeah,
You got to have a connection with that person. He really wanted to help
Exactly, yeah.
get you the house. So
Yeah, and
it's important for that.
yeah, thankfully, like we were both able to connect. I couldn't speak with the agent, but you can see someone's intent, right? And Colin could convey that.
Yeah.
So that
very
was
important.
That's the most important thing. I mean, if you're here on day one and don't make a good first impression, they don't want to.
They'll make excuses not to work with you.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, this working with a foreigner is a complicated process. I mean, for this particular agent, it was his first time dealing with a foreigner. Period. And for the majority of Colin's clients, I would say it's the same.
Yeah,
the same sort of idea.
And you could tell by how extra careful he was asking questions 2 or 3 times to make sure you're okay with everything. It's like he was very thorough.
So even for a fluent Japanese speaker, the process is very thorough and very. I'm not going to say asking because you're buying the property from them, but it is asking, right? So to add that language barrier, cultural barrier. That's why a lot of agents will just flat out say no.
Yeah, because they see the whole picture.
Yeah, even if you're walking in with cash, hey, I can buy this right away. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, because if you're a headache to deal with, your money's not your money's no good, but you're a headache to deal with, right? Not even out of your own fault, but so that the process was thankfully very quick, very easy for the most part. The only sort of not even hurdle was just getting your actual money here. Now it's gonna depend on where your money's coming from, what issuing bank you're with in your respective country. We used Wise for the payment portion. The main thing is just make sure you can get your money into Wise
early on. That's correct.
Early on,
so
because
Wise isn't the issue. It's the fact that you got to get it from your bank to Wise first.
Wise will let you, in one transaction, send up to $1 million US. So that's for anything you're buying here, you can pay in one transaction. The main thing is just if your issuing bank has limits, which most will.
Yes. So you should prepare that ahead of time.
Yeah, you got to prepare that ahead of time because our not that we didn't prepare enough time, it's just we didn't know. Right. So get your money into Wise so it's ready to send. Once the contract is ready to be drafted. And otherwise, even if you have a week, you may have a limit per day, per week.
That's correct.
And if the value of the house exceeds that, you don't meet the contract in time, and
because they don't know what your situation with finances are. They're just hoping it's correct, right?
Yeah,
and they're trusting you on your side. So you got to be flexible as well. You both got to be flexible.
Both parties have to be flexible, and you just kind of have to hope that they're willing to be as flexible as
But at the end of the day, we have to be flexible. They can be whatever way they want.
Of course, It's more so on our part, but it's also their discretion to deal with us.
Where in Western countries, it's like the seller's trying to convince you to buy a place, but here they're like, do we really want to sell to these people?
That's the biggest difference. In a Western country, it's there's a hard sell of, hey, we want you to buy this. Here it's we found the property, we reached out to the agent. We pretty much did all the legwork, and he's just facilitating the paperwork. Right? So it's very different.
And we have to convince them to sell to us. Kind of
that's the thing. Yeah, you have to
get the deal we want. But I mean, they're flexible in that sense as well. They're willing to do that.
Well, within reason, as long as you're respectful and following the appropriate routines and methods and customs. I mean, to fail is not very likely, but you need to have the right help in order to follow those customs and pass those barriers, right? That's the main thing.
What about the TransferWise? There was another thing we learned about that. If it's under $1 million, you don't need the bank code, was it?
If it's
the Swift code?
Swift code, yeah. So that's going to depend on if you're transferring to an individual or to a company.
Okay.
But if it was under $1 million yen, you don't need the Swift code. You can do it just with bank account, branch transit, bank number, everything there.
So if it's over $1 million, you need more information.
You need not more information, just different information.
Okay.
And when we contacted when the seller was in process of getting ready to accept our payment, he gave us only a set number of information, right? A set list of information that didn't include a Swift code. It was local bank details, not international bank details. So just figure out get your money into a place where you can send it. Wise was great. The fees were not so bad considering the amount of money sent.
Very good. So in your situation, what way did you do it? And what about the bonus thing we learned about this? Or what did they allow you to do that normally they wouldn't?
With the Wise transfer or with?
Yes, with the Wise transfer.
With the Wise transfer, so essentially with my specific case, with the sort of limits on my issuing bank, I had to use multiple different ways to pull out my money, whereas one is a wire, one is a electronic transfer, and then Wise. One is my debit card. I had to use multiple ways because I had a limit on multiple different routes, right? Versus if you just get that done to begin with and just get it out the way, you don't have to jump through hurdles. For us, it was more just like, we had a week to get the payment done, which is a long time, but I just wanted to get it done sooner than later, right? So.
Okay. But so you sent 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million.
Oh yeah,
so you
yeah,
sent it
oh
all
yeah,
separately,
oh yeah.
right?
In our case, we sent it separately, so we broke up.
Yeah.
We broke up the payments by a million, and then the rest of the change, right?
That's right. And what was the cool thing that they allowed you to do that normally isn't done?
Oh yeah, like break up the payment instead of sending it all in one.
Nope. Oh, that could be part of it,
Yeah,
but
part
that's
of it.
technically okay. It was the fact that they allowed you to pay before you signed the contract.
Oh, that as well, yeah. Because we were on a bit of a time crunch, and
Yes.
I have to get back to Canada at a certain time because I didn't buy an open-ended ticket, I bought a return ticket, and because it happened to fall during Golden Week as well. Typically, the payment all has to be made on one day, the day day of the contract. So. If you get all your money into Wise, then you can do that because the Wise transfer is pretty much instant. It's just the only downtime you're waiting for is the bank.
Okay.
So that was one thing that
because they got to verify it before they can actually officially give you the keys, right?
That's the
we'd be
thing.
stuck. Like, what do we do? Come back again?
Yeah.
So that's why it's usually broken up.
Yeah.
But they allowed you to pay a week in advance and all verified.
Yeah, that's the thing, and you don't think it's going to be an issue saying, hey, I want to give you the money earlier and then sign the contract, but they're very by the book here, right?
Yes.
That's the main thing.
And he kept saying no to me, and I kept trying to convince him, and he eventually caved. He's like, yeah, okay, we'll do it your way.
Yeah.
Because I explained to him all the safety of all these ways, why we're doing it specific ways, and it's all new to him.
Yeah.
So he's like, what is this foreigner talking about?
Yeah.
Nah, he's probably full of shit.
Yeah.
But no, it was a way to do stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And at the same time, while dealing with foreigners as well, it's like you don't know if things are being done with correct and appropriate intention. Sellers have to be careful with that
and they're
as well.
used to the way they're doing it, right? So they don't understand that there's different ways in the world to do stuff, right?
Exactly. So really what we were doing is we wanted to send the payment early so that, hey, the money's in your account, it's cleared, and then we do the contract, right? Because we want them to get the money, and we want to sign the contract once they have the money, and we'll accept ownership once we've paid for it, right? But
of course, there's a trust issue, right, on either end, right? Because they might just take our money and go to the play some pachinko or something.
Exactly, yeah. So we trusted them, and again, it's all a vibe thing, right? If anything feels off, I mean, then it feels off on their end or on our end, right? But yeah, thankfully they were allowed us to do the payment in advance and then do the contract a few days or a week really following the payment. So thankfully we were able to talk to them and make that happen.
Yeah, it was impressive. He took you seriously though as a 24-year-old kid, which is it's amazing that you're doing this. Like your dad's gonna be super proud about this one. Jeez, I wish he was here to see all this.
I know. I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really beautiful. But yeah, the process was thankfully quick and painless. I mean, you don't think buying foreign property as a foreigner in a country that you don't speak the language will be quick, but it was quick.
It's quick, but
again, you need the right help.
You need the right help, and they don't get that from all those different videos, right? So
that's the biggest thing. I mean, like you can look up any YouTube, Facebook, Yahoo headline that shows Japan is giving away $1 homes. Yeah. But the reality is, you have absolutely no method of, even if they were that cheap, which the ones that are livable aren't. You have no way of getting in touch with them. Yeah. You can surf on
Akiya
millions,
banks or whatever,
you can surf on Akiya banks, which is even less because those are local, like municipal.
They're harder. They're a lot harder.
Yeah, those unless you're like
they want you to live
local.
here first, actually.
Yeah, like that too.
Yeah.
So Akiya banks, it's like you can find places, but you need someone to bridge that gap, right? Yeah. So do all your homework. Go on Akiya banks or whatever you want to do.
Oh, and also I had to do what?
Oh yeah, and Colin had to. He had to. Hanko stamp it for me, and
so I had to be his proxy. I actually needed more documents than he did for the final contact. Yeah. It's like, okay, I don't. It's not my property.
Yeah, in my specific case, because the place is being purchased before residency. Yeah. They need some sort of guarantor. That way, if I buy this place and run away for 3 years and owe 3 years of property tax, someone who has an address here can be contacted, who can get in contact with me.
That's correct.
If I don't run away.
So I needed my proof of address here, as well as proof of my Hanko now, my Incan, my stamp.
The stamp, yeah.
Which just started from this April, and the rules are changing because a lot of foreigners are ruining it for everyone here, running or causing problems, and they want to have always somebody who lives here that they can actually talk to them about. Because if they just talk to that person directly, maybe they don't even speak Japanese, right? So it just
exactly.
I get it.
Not only that, it's international phone numbers. The mailing address structure is completely different. Even if they wanted to mail you a bill, the structure is completely different. So they needed. Thankfully, Colin was willing to do that for this to make it happen, yeah, just made the process possible. Because if I was doing this alone, I don't have a residency card, I don't have a Hanko, they wouldn't have sold me the property, right?
Yeah.
So
it's as simple as that, right?
Yeah, it's simple as that. So the majority of the people who are, looking into Akiyas and whatnot are not already in Japan. The whole point is they're in a Western country or another country where housing is a tricky situation, and they see this and it's attractive, but again, you have to take the right steps to make it work the right way.
Yeah, it's just too bad all those other YouTubers make it seem like it's so easy and magic. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like...
You're doing it for clicks.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's, you're selling your video as a product as opposed to selling your service to help people actually get places like this.
And I already do it, I'm already successful at it on my own. Like, YouTube just came after. It wasn't really something I was gunning for to do it as a business in that sense. It just grew from that naturally.
Yeah.
So it's better that way instead of people trying to create some fantasy out there just to make themselves look bigger as a brand on the internet. It's like, I don't understand that, so it's different.
So there's a lot. Just make sure all that content is useful for research as long as you don't take everything so literally, right? Because there's a lot of great content out there for you to get an idea of how things are, but a lot of people paint a very different picture. Whereas Colin, no editing, just walk through this house, and you actually get an idea of what you're getting into, right? Yeah. He's not hiding the fact that one of his houses he bought has a a leaky roof for this or that.
I don't just speed through it. I give you the whole real process of what I'm going through each house I see.
By watching those videos, you can kind of look at indicators of what to look for once you have your prospective list of houses, and even in photos, because even when you're checking photos, you may be from a part of the world where the building materials are different, everything's different. So
every house is different. Right?
Every house is different. So just by looking at photos is one thing, but then being able to come here and walk through it with somebody who's already, owned numerous properties here, renovated numerous properties here, gives you an idea of how much you can, how much bargain room you have, because
that's correct.
You have someone who knows how much a bathroom costs, the kitchen costs, the floor, the leaky ceiling, whatever, right? Whereas you're just gonna, if you're on your own and somehow you make it to the stage of actually viewing the house, which is unlikely, but if you do make it to the stage, you don't know how much things cost.
And you don't know how much it costs. You don't know the numbers of the actual place, the land, the house, what's legit.
You may end up overpaying.
The details for the house.
Yeah, you may end up overpaying for the house. Or you may end up, just buying a complete lemon.
Or not getting a bargain you could have gotten.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of people, I save money, people they don't realize there's leg room for.
Yeah, exactly. You're completely missing out, right? Because, you see properties that are already attractive, and in this one in particular, like the list price was already attractive.
Yeah.
And we still, Colin still managed to get us a couple points off that, right? So that's the main thing. But you don't even realize that with these
without pushing too far. You got to find that right. I know where to push those numbers to get.
Yeah, that as well. You don't want to push too far because of the sort of respect thing, right? You don't want to completely lowball them, and then they're like, oh, these guys aren't serious. They're just,
that's pretty much it. They're not serious.
Yeah, so. And with people who aren't used to dealing with foreigners, I mean, it's really easy to get turned off like right away if you just make it something that may not seem insulting to you because of your real estate climate, but it's all different, In other Western countries, you're used to going to see 5 houses and putting an offer on all the 5 houses. If 4 of them fail and 1 of them works, then you hit.
Yeah.
It's not exactly it here, right?
Here you don't do that. You have to dedicate yourself to 1 house, and you got to put a serious offer for it. You can't do 3 offers, because if you get accepted for all 3, you got to buy all 3 houses. You can't gamble like that, right? Because they won't take you seriously. So even if I make light offers on the phone, you still got to. Some of them want an official offer to know. Okay, this guy's serious. Okay, now we can negotiate.
Yeah, and you can't without seeing the property. You can't negotiate too. That's just kind of like sort of insulting because you haven't even seen it, right? It's like so.
I've had one client do that, buy it off the price right away, but
I mean,
it doesn't happen like that. But
it's circumstantial, right?
If it's circumstantial, obviously, if it's a gorgeous property, you can tell right away.
Yeah, you want it. And even this one, thankfully, it was even better than the photos. To be honest, like when we first walked in, like even.
Well, how can you put this in a photo?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like when I found this listing, this view wasn't a feature of the listing.
No, they're very bad at making.
Yeah, I saw the tip of those mountains through a photo of like a window. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. And then eventually you do your homework, you find where things are, and then
you do the Google Maps stuff.
Yeah, you can, and it's typically addresses are not even listed. Like you have to find the place on Google Maps, so you have to sort of geoguess and match the vegetation and structures and find your place, and then you can see, and then it's like, wow.
Yeah, they're not good at putting pictures online for the stuff. They don't have videos or anything like that. They're
well, at the same
very
time,
hit and miss with everything.
They're selling these houses at such a fair price point that they can't afford to do $1,000 marketing package for a house.
Guess. That's a good point.
You know,
their profit margin is like zero to negative.
Exactly. If you're selling a $1 million, $2 million home in North America, then you know it pays off to spend that money on marketing it to foreign buyers, on doing nice videos, photos, and everything.
I mean, even on this place, it was like when they were asking 6.5, and I got them down to. I asked for 5.8, and they said, "Come on, okay, at least 5.9." And I said, "Sure." It's like $1,000 bucks
sure with them
because they were that tight on breaking even or losing money on the property that, you know, that's how the negotiating they were. But any other country, they would never said 1,000. They'd be like, "No, we want more." But here they're like 1,000, okay. I'm like,
you're
okay.
talking 10s, 20s, 30s in other countries, right? For negotiation.
Because I even asked the guys, why would you just say like $1,000? I was like, just being straight with him. He's like, yeah, because some people give up on that in Japan, Japanese people. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I wouldn't. Why would I throw a deal away for $10? You know, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm just.
But I mean, we would have paid full price, but the game is fun.
No, it's a bonus,
it's
right?
A bonus.
I mean,
that's just a bonus on top.
That's pretty much that's what we said initially on like the first Zoom call. It's like this seems really well priced, and anything else we can do is a bonus, and that's pretty much it, right? I mean, so we did it. We made it happen.
And both times we came here, we've had awesome weather.
Yeah, thankfully, it's
sure it's working.
It's been great, but
so when you saw my videos, did I somehow push you over the edge, or were you already over the edge before that? Like, what got you over the edge to go for it? Like, where you actually felt confident to actually just go
after I had seen your videos, it definitely made me a little more confident in it, because there weren't many videos that by people who speak English anyway, that actually show the properties for what they are.
The reality of the situation.
The reality of the properties and everything there. So that's sort of, I was already on the...
teetering on the edge,
but I just didn't know who to ask, because there are real estate companies that specialize in dealing with foreigners. There are other individuals who have companies and teams and whatnot who help with that. But I watched content from pretty much everybody, and podcasts and everything from the main chunk of people who are online doing this, and I just felt like dealing with one guy, like just dealing with one guy who after watching the other testimonials from other clients and watching Colin's content, it just seemed like the right fit. I made
the cut.
You made the cut,
I'm humbled.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Because when you're dealing with companies,
My middle name.
and the main thing is this became sort of our only focus for the past 3 weeks, right?
That's what it's supposed to be. If you work for big companies, all the other teams and stuff, it just gets too much. And they usually push you towards condos anyways.
Yeah, I mean...
a lot of people don't want to deal with this kind of stuff.
That's the thing. The more people that are involved and the more hands that are in the deal, the less sort of intention there is to help you with what you want, whereas what may benefit that real estate team, or they may, if I was dealing with an agent, because there are agents who specialize with Akiyas, they might be pushing me to something that they already own and are selling, right?
100%. I deal with that a lot.
Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is, they want to push a sale as quick as they can. They don't want to care about the actual person themselves. I'm not trying to put them down or anything, but that's what they do, and I experienced that a lot as a buyer myself. So it's really frustrating. But I know you're bang on.
Whereas in this case, it's just.
One of my agents keeps pushing properties on me. Buy because he has a couple homes himself. He's like, you want to buy this from me?
Yeah, and I mean, those, they might be good deals as well, but they might not be what you want, right? A good deal on the wrong thing is not a good deal.
It's kind of how I got the World War II Caves house. It's like, I just, on the whim, just bought it up from an agent I made buddies with, so.
But yeah, that would be, I was teeter-tottering on the edge, and like I knew I wanted to do it. I just didn't really know how. And shot Colin an email,
and holy shit, did it go fast.
Yeah, within 2 weeks of sending my first email, I was in Japan. It was first week email. We went back and forth, different time zones. So I'd wake up and call and send an email. I'd go to bed, send an email, and then different time zones. I'd keep waking up to an email, and then it's like, okay, hey, let's get on a Zoom call on Saturday, and just So within 2 weeks of my first contact with Colin, I was in Japan, and then the third week I was. We're here in the house.
It's crazy how it just goes like that. And I warned you about that too. I said, when you're taking this seriously, we're going. Yeah. Because you can't prepare people for the ride. Oh, we're going, man. Yeah. And you're at the finish line. Holy shit, I just bought a house. Yeah. And you can't get cold feet. It's just like, because like I said, the process, once you're in it, you're going, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, as long as you find a place, come here with intention and have the right help.
Yeah, and you got to trust me 100%. It's all about trust. Just
that as well. Yeah, like
let me hold your hand and take you through it. You know, you got to have your own confidence, but you have to trust what I'm showing you and taking you through, because if you don't have that, then you're always going to have doubts about things, right?
Yeah,
and you might be confident what you get.
Yeah.
So,
and in our case, us also being from the same country as well,
that helps.
That was also what kind of helped.
And thinking the same a bit.
Yeah,
too.
thinking the same as well, but that helped sort of with my confidence with dealing with you in general, because it's like, okay, this guy's in the not exact same, but a very similar scenario to me, coming from one place going to another place, and you'll know the step by step, the play by play better than, let's say, if I'm dealing with somebody who, you know, specializes in real estate here but isn't from Canada.
Yeah.
Right. So the way of thinking translates over.
Yeah, because I have all the right skills that match like that, right? The Canadian part, you're thinking,
exactly.
plus the Japanese. All
you know what it's like to come here from not just a foreign country, from Canada to here, as an English speaker, and then purchasing your own properties here. So the kind of points that we could relate on, or what vibe, and you know that may be different for everybody, but for me that's what it was, right? And just straightforwardness,
and not just to focus on my side to make a sale to you about you should buy this house because it's the best house in the market, where you actually get to choose what you want.
Yeah, like I sent him a list of properties, 5 properties, and I said, hey, this is the one I like the most, and he said that's the one we're gonna get, right?
And we talked about all of them, and you made a good call. Some clients have no clue what they want, so we go through a list of 10 properties and we narrow down to 5, then we go see all 5, and then you choose the one they like. But you had a specific one you wanted, and
like in my case, it's just like when you see it, you'll know.
You know,
it's hard from the photos, because some places won't even list
signs, right?
Or signs, but you know they'll list even just exterior photos of the property, not even interior for some of the listings. So it's hard to know, but once you I had this specific listing bookmarked for like 2 months, I think it was, and then I finally decided to send it off and
you got lucky on so many levels. You got lucky that it was still here. You got lucky that the price just went down before you came. You got lucky that they actually chose you to sell it to you.
Yeah, and we got lucky with the beautiful weather as well. And
just all the right things come together, and the universe knew that this house was going to be yours for sure. You know.
But yeah, that's it. Just be ready to, if you're serious about owning property here, be ready to take the leap and just make sure it's a place that you're confident with. Like this one, we were confident online, you know. Make sure it's a place that you're confident with, not just like, oh, it's a $10,000 home, you know. So
not only about just getting a cheap place, you got to find the right balance. I always look for balance on my properties.
Yeah, exactly. You have to find the right balance of work and transit and work that needs to be done to the house, and you know, so you'll find the right place you'll know when you find the right place. And then you just need the right help.
But you have to, you also have to commit that you want to be in Japan too, right?
Yeah, that as well.
You gotta love the place. You can't just, you shouldn't buy a house if you just see a cheap house because you want to buy a cheap house. You should come here and actually love Japan in some way or something.
Exactly, yeah.
They're not willing just to, hey, we have lots of Akiyas, come by. They're not like that here. They want the right people living here. And that's why they make it hard, the process, right? Yeah. But would you say, the fact that I wasn't wearing a suit, like most people who do this kind of stuff wear suits and are like act like professional and stuff like that, is that okay for you?
Yeah. I mean, like for me, it was not a deal breaker or anything by any means. I mean, you know, we got on a Zoom call. We were both wearing regular clothes. Yeah. And just talked to a
regular dude.
You know, just a regular guy who was gonna help me, right? So
that's what I don't want to be fake to people. So
that's the thing. I mean, like if you're dealing with real estate companies, it can be like sort of intimidating, even perhaps. But I wasn't.
Well, everything's rigid, right? And everybody's got to act a certain way. They can't think outside the box. I ignore all that stuff, and you get shit done is what I always say is my motto, right? So whatever way it takes to get to that, you know. Yeah, but
that didn't bother me. I mean, like it might bother people who are not used to dealing with you know, a real estate agent in Canada would be very thing, but Colin's not a real estate agent, right? It's a different service. So
just what do you have to say about that? Just tell them to screw it and don't care about that kind of stuff, or
for me it didn't bother me. Yeah, for me it didn't bother me. I mean, it's
why would it bother anybody? It doesn't bother me. I don't care about what they're doing or what they're wearing. I care about their actions and how the stuff they're talking about, right?
Yeah. I mean, the formalities weren't really as important as the abilities, right? So that's the main.
That's the whole point.
That's the main thing there. So what you see is what you get, and hopefully it helps you get that house.
I hope so.
Yeah, but...
any last words for everybody?
That's it.
You happy?
Happy, yeah. Very happy.
Look at the smile on his face. Stop laughing. He's been laughing all day and smiling.
Yeah, no, it's finally...
Stand up straight, cameraman. I'm not paying you for nothing.
And
appreciate it.
And that's it, so that's it.
You want to be in, or are you okay? Or?
Kick assets.
Okay.
Cha-ching.
Kick assets. Cha-ching. Our cameraman did a great job today. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right.
Step into my office because you're fired.
All right.
Sorry.